So, hi everyone, nice to see you. It's surprising how much I look forward to doing this over and over again. There really is no over again, you know. It's weird, isn't it? This never happens again. Doesn't even happen once. This happening that doesn't happen. Sounds as though that it can sound like, okay, well, that must be radically different to it is for virtually everyone who live in time, but it is no different. And yet completely different. But there isn't a seeing. It's not that now timelessness is seen or emptiness is seen or nothing is seen or love is seen. All of these words that you've heard so many times if you've been going to meetings, the words that are attempted descriptions of life simply as it is, not happening to me, not happening for me, just happening. And like all illusions for self, the illusion is that there is something to wait for, that you'll know when it's arrived. This whole message is just simply saying there is no arrival. There can be no departure. There is no one to get closer or to be further away. You just can't get nearer. This is as intimate as it can possibly be. This is complete intimacy. Because there is no separation. There isn't any space between. There's no river to cross. There's no road to travel. It can be disappointing because if you've been waiting a long time to arrive, then it may seem preferable to keep moving towards an imagined destination. But God is hard work. It's exhausting. It's endless. The waiting. And really all that's being said is it might be absolutely obvious that there is nowhere to get to and no one who could get there, even if there were a place. I was always really attracted as a seeker the word home, I don't know if it resonates with you, but it resonated really powerfully for Tim as a seeker. Was really, if I read anything and it talks about coming home, homecoming, God, I wanted that badly. Because home spoke of rest. Finally, a resting place. But there isn't a place called home. There is only home. Home is everywhere and nowhere. Only home. Really, that kind of describes how it is for most selves, trying to find their place, my place. Where I can just be comfortable. I don't have to try anymore. And it is a cruel irony that the very looking for home is the discomfort, that longing. When in actual fact, it's impossible to leave. So the word home is kind of synonymous with love, in that when home is everywhere and it isn't anywhere, then everywhere you are is home. You're not there, there's just home. And that feels like love. Not not a love that you'd want, really. Not a love that I would have wanted. Not a love for me. An empty love. It has to be empty to be unconditional. If it had qualities, then it wouldn't be unconditional. So this is a love that is always. It doesn't have a way. And it's a love that doesn't necessarily mean loving. And yet it does. It's all paradoxical. It's loving simply because it is. Not because you like it, not because you love it, not because of whatever you say about it, simply because it is. And then it makes no sense that sadness and loss and anger and disgust and repulsion and all the things that we would call unloving are equally love. Heidi's calling me a priest today. It was a bit of a sermon, wasn't it? Oh, I don't think I'm getting asked to the church in a hurry.
But the second part is much more important.
Sorry, Heidi, say that again.
The second part is much more important. The priest says there's no hope. This is it. Yeah.
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 So if you'd like to ask a question or say anything, share anything, then put your hand up or just say it. Darren will pick you out, I should think. Should think so.
If anyone's not sure how to put their hand up, in reactions, there's a raise hand. Heidi has a hand up. Go ahead, Heidi.
Yeah, it's me again.
Go on, Heidi.
I really love this. I really love these introductions, because last time I had the idea, if many of us that comes onto this platform is really listening to what you say, not what you say, what's said here,
Yeah.
many questions will fall away like this. And the second part was about the priests and the teachers. I had a short history about the first time I was starting with dealing with numbers in mathematics like this. My first question was, but what are we doing with the rest of what we have to cut off? And the teacher looked at me and she said, don't ask me such a fool thing. That was it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that's all for the moment.
Thanks, Heidi.
Great.
Alice. Alice has a hand up. Go ahead, Alice.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Alice.
Hi. I really appreciated your talk today. I understand it. I mean, I get it more than I've ever gotten it, whatever that means.
Whatever that means, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine, yeah.
But I did go through a period of anger where I would be caught in a story and I'd say, what does he mean? This is it. How can this be just everything? And I'm starting to just see somewhat what that means. Not with my mind really, but I get a bigger sense of it. Can you talk a little bit about when we're in a story and you say, this is it? What does this is it mean? This is all there is.
Yeah. Well, first I'd say, Alice, is you don't have to worry about it because you won't get it.
Right.
So that's the best news. Because really, that's what every seeker is waiting until they've got it.
Yes.
And they'll know when they get it. That's the great, that is the illusion. I will know what's being spoken of when I get it. Well, and the whole message is you can't get it. And I mean, and yet as a seeker, doesn't matter how many times I heard that, I was still waiting until I get it, until I'd got it. And by got it, I meant fully understand it.
Yes.
Really, deeply viscerally as well. You know, everything about me knows the truth of it. No, there is no knowing of this. This is completely known without any knowing. That's the wonderfully dreadful news. This does not require any knowledge, any understanding, any awareness, any consciousness, anything else you've been waiting to get more of or less of. It is already as it is. That takes no knowing at all. It is literally everything as it appears, no matter how it appears. And there isn't anything else. That's the whole message, is that there isn't something hidden. There isn't. I mean, Tony's phrase, oh, it's not Tony's, the open secret is still a great phrase. This isn't hidden. This is in plain view. And it's in plain view as everything. It's not, oh yeah, it's over there, but not over there. Or if I just concentrate a little bit harder, then I'll see through the facade and it's hidden behind at a greater depth. This has no depth and is all depth. It's, you know, there isn't anywhere this isn't. That's why it can't be seen. It simply can't be seen because it's already everything. So whatever is seen is it. Everything that's not seen is it too. Whether you say you see it or not, doesn't matter. It's it. It's not an it. So of course, it's not something that can be seen. So it's a wonderful paradox. And it sounds as though everyone who's spoken about this has seen it. Well, if they say they have, fine. I'm suggesting this is not seeable. What we are speaking of is all seeing, but can't be seen. And here it is. It's the end of looking for whatever you're looking for, when it is always everything. That's my best attempt, Alice.
That's very good. Yes. Yes, I have smatterings of really following you. That's where I'm at today.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes
But
sense.
I can't emphasize enough, because it sounds as though whoever's spoken in this way must be seeing something different, must be seeing in a totally radical different way to
Yes.
everyone else. No. Plain seeing. I'm not speaking about any difference in perception at all.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Alice. I mean, the best word I've got still, or I can't find anything better, is than the very present, very direct word, which is this. And this doesn't mean anything as a word, but it's still the best I've got to encapsulate in one word what we're speaking about. This and nothing else. simply no more or less than this. And then, of course, the mind says, yeah, but what are you speaking about when you say this? What is this? Well, this is everything. This is all. And the most incredible thing is that all is empty, as well as being what everything is. Everything is equally empty of its, what we think it is, of its thingness, you could say. Nothing being everything, everything being nothing. I mean, they sound like cliches, but it's all we've got is these these inadequate words, which are, of course, are always divisive. They're always separating. So all we're left with as attempted descriptions are paradoxical terms, just opposites falling into each other. And all that is an attempt to say is, this does not have an opposite. So using this as what we're speaking about, there is no that. This is that, that is this. Now is then, here is there. Simply not two. Simply not me and everything else. Not me and the rest of the world. Simply not life happening to me, just life happening.
Heidi has a hand up.
Heidi.
Tim was great because I remembered in all these moments I realized in several theories or practice sessions or things like that were moments where a real Om came to me, or a real Amen came to me,
A real
or
what?
a real Amen, or a real Om. It was
Oh,
even this moment, yeah, it was, yeah, okay, I can say Amen, I can say Om. This is really in all these different things we have into the world. We have this pickups, these moments, these slight moments where it is all the time catchable. It is just here. It is here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my thought was also, this is like an ongoing flash. Never ends, never stops. It's just Om, Amen. And whatever I do in this, it's not important.
No.
I can meditate, I can sit down, I can go to the church, and really I can say then, Amen, so great. I can sit then and just can say, oh, that's it. It's so great. It's really great. Yeah. It's fun.
Well,
really.
the wonderful freedom is that regardless of what you do, it's all equal. There isn't any higher and lower.
Yeah.
They're still preferable, you know. You like
Bench the caution.
you like doing, you like going to church, or you like going fishing,
Yeah. Yeah.
or you,
Yeah.
but
Walking or playing golf or yeah,
but
whatever.
it becomes very obvious that
Yeah.
one doing,
Mm.
or even thoughts, you know, one
Yeah.
thought is not superior. There aren't higher and lower thoughts,
Yeah.
and there aren't higher and lower emotions.
Yeah.
They just appear.
that's great, because one thing is what hicks me in my all day life is if I have the idea that I am not hurt, or that somebody says no, we do not want to listen into what you have to say, then I become really excited. That because I have then the idea, I have to bring them on my floor, that
Right.
they can understand what I mean. But it is not working.
No, it
I have
doesn't.
no possibilities. Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
yeah.
No,
yeah. It doesn't matter. You say it again.
it doesn't matter. No.
It doesn't matter. Okay. Mm. Yeah, I'll take this with me. It's great. Thank you. Thank you.
Heidi has her hand up. Heidi, the other Heidi. Heidi with the love.
The other Heidi. Hi.
Yeah.
Hello, Heidi.
Hi there. Yeah, I was just thinking of what Heidi was saying just now, but I think, you know, you can, like you were saying, like you feel like you have to like show yourself or give your, you know, show this floor that you stand on, or whatever I think was what you were saying. I think that, you know, it's, if saying whatever you feel is wonderful, you know, and that's okay. And that is, I think that is doing that, what you're saying. It does create that space, you know, to be able to be heard, because you were talking about, you know, wanting to be heard, or this feeling of, you know, I think that's okay. And so just to say whatever it is that you need to say, right? Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like saying that, but, you know, and then, you know, and it's, and without really having this, like this feeling or sense of even, you know, having to, like without this feeling of the need to be heard, but just being heard. Yeah. Right. I think there's a difference between, you know, yeah. Anyway, but that's what came. And the other thing I wanted to say as well is that, you know, Tim, when you're talking about the me falling away, it's like that's a detrimental place for the me, for that space that you're talking about, of, you know, there not being the anything like not the two, right? You were saying not two. Not two is like that, you know, that's like tragedy for me.
Yeah, so well, it's likely to feel like death, yeah, or being killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are speaking about death, I know, and I don't speak about it enough probably, but you know, it's probably dismal enough, these talks, without talking about death all the time, but we are talking about death always. Life is death. Yeah. That's again the greatest separation that self makes, is between life and death, as though they are opposites. They're not. This is, so when I say this, I can call it life, I can call it death too. Death is not so somewhere else either. Death isn't residing in an, well, it's not in an imagined future. There is only this. Death is ever present. Death is not separate from life. Birth is not separate from death. This is always born. And this is always dying. And this is always alive. None of those are separate. Don't try and get that. You can't get that. No. It's totally irrational. So that might sound like, oh, well, he must be on a different planet speaking that nonsense if he actually believes that. I don't believe it. It's just simply obvious. If there's only this, it is this obvious. This is all. So everything is here. There is nothing. There is nothing else.
And there's not that trying to make it be something, because I think that, you know, the me is always trying to put a time frame to something and trying to make it, you know, into this some sort of box that it can understand.
Yeah.
And just knowing that that's not a possibility is just knowing that that's not a possibility.
No.
So, you know, but then what other words can you use to describe that, right?
Yeah. But one of the reasons that you can call what we're speaking of liberation is because it is liberation from the fear of death. When this, if it is obvious that this is death, then of course death has nothing to fear. Death is nothing to fear. It's
nothing. Yeah.
There is, death is ever present. So what is there to fear from it? It's not somewhere else. It's not coming for you. It's not waiting in an imagined future for you to take you. There's no one to take.
Go ahead, Scott.
Hi, Scott.
Hey, Tim. Hello, everyone. Yeah, it's really occurring to me now that almost everything that we think is just an opinion. And it doesn't really mean anything.
Not really, no.
Even the thought I'm a body, or this means something, or this doesn't mean anything, or that this world is real or not. I mean, you can't know a thing.
No.
And it was just the mind. It had made up some kind of structure as a kid or something. Even hanging out with my parents and finding and seeing how much of their certitudes have been mine my whole life.
Yeah.
But they're just opinions. I don't have to counter them. I don't have to fix them. I don't have to.
No.
It's the weirdest thing.
When you see everyone's opinions just as opinions, of course, there's no desire to do anything about them.
Yeah, there's no battle anymore. There's no fight. There's no. It's sweet because it never had weight anyway. So, and as I watch them fall away, I realize I was the one holding all this up. It wasn't. It wasn't them. It wasn't the world or the culture or the, you know.
No, that's good, Scott. It's never anyone else. It's always me.
Yeah. I saw this great movie last night. It's on YouTube for anyone who wants to see it. It's called Tracks. It's about a girl who walks across the Australian desert, 2,000 miles with some camels. And she gets a sponsor by National Geographic. And so they take pictures of her, and she wasn't going to write about it. She was just allergic to people. And she wanted to be alone.
Right.
And she gets about halfway across, and I guess a couple of National Geographics with photos had come out, and there are all these people waiting for her, and she's just totally allergic to them. And when she sees the paper articles and the articles, she can't stand it. And it made me realize you get to a point where you don't even want this to be described or see it interpreted by other people, because it's just fluff, you know. It's
the speaking is all fluff. Yeah, this is all fluff. All the talking about this is not what we're talking. It's not what we're talking about. Well, you know, it is as well, but it's no more than a bird singing or a dog barking. You know, these are the noises human beings make. They don't mean anything. But of course, we've made them into really significant noises, haven't we? Like they really mean something special. Because why? Well, because I'm special, that's why. And so because or even if I don't feel special, I desire to be. And so we make certain human beings' words very special indeed. This is the end of any words being special.
Yeah. It was my desire to be special that made their words, deeds, actions, possessions.
Yeah.
I gave it all that. But now, you know, it just falls away and you go, oh, you could never describe it. You can never get it. It's not gonna, it doesn't do anything.
No, so I mean, it is massively a massive loss. You know, just one of the losses would be, you know, all your favorite spiritual words that you've held really dear. If you know, self loves to be able to quote seemingly significant strings of words together that some great wise human being spoke, as though they have greater meaning than, you know, your cat purring. Well, your cat purring is, it's not that your cat purring is greater, it's of equal insignificance. There we go.
Anyway,
it's all the same.
Yeah. When she threw away the papers, you know, writing about her, I kind of had a moment of crying because it was obvious that you can do great things. It just doesn't mean a damn thing.
No, nothing.
And oh, that's such a freedom.
Wow, I mean, that's what that is the freedom we're speaking of. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks.
That's a huge relief, isn't it?
Yeah. She eventually just makes it to the ocean. And it's just, you realize she just dropped everything, all her certitudes. She said at the end, she says something like, "It's not what you carry, it's what you drop." And I realized that's kind of all of our journeys is it's the opposite of what we thought it was. It's not accumulation. It's just things falling away.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah, that's good.
Thanks, Tim.
It's called Tracks, is it? Tracks. I'll have a look. I've got a question from George. George says, how can anything at all happen? Oh, I've lost it now. Hold on. Where is it? How can anything at all happen without everything else going on at the same time? Well, the thing about knowing how anything happens or can happen, George, is that it doesn't matter. It matters to you because you probably want to know how things happen. It matters to most selves. They want to know how this happened. How did this happen? Self says. And it comes up with some simple or incredibly complex answer, neither of which mean anything. There is just what's happening. Whether you say you know how it happened or not, matters not to what happens. And the other bit of that, without everything else going on at the same time. Well, there isn't anything happening at the same time. There is no time. There is no same time for anything to happen. Things seem to happen in time. And that's how it seems to be. Let me have a look what else is in the chat. Rochia says the me is dualism, but dualism is the illusion. Hence me is an illusion. This has never been separate. Certainly not. Oh, George also asks about language, because there's quite a few people who speak about this who are quite accusational towards language, as though language is the language is the problem. I don't have any sense that language is the problem. I wouldn't say language is the cause of duality at all. Language comes from the sense of self, who creates the language. And so, of course, who's at the center of language? I am. And then what language does is then reinforce constantly the illusion of separation, of you and me, of us and them, of this and that, and everything else. You know, the object, subject and object. But so language, I would say, is symptomatic, not a cause. If we're talking about cause and effect, and of course this is only story, there is no cause and effect. But if we're talking about cause and effect of duality, then of course there is only one cause. I am the cause.
Tim. Tim?
Hi,
Hey.
Diana.
Yeah. So when when we talk about resonance, I mean,
Yeah.
we know that this is beyond words, but yet what is, I mean, we talk about resonance, that's frequently
Yeah.
mentioned, and that seems legitimate. What's the resonance? Where is that happening? What does it mean?
That's really.
Say nothing. Please don't say nothing. I mean, there has
Wow.
to be some. There has to be something to it, to the resonance.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone knows. If you say resonance, everyone knows what you're speaking about, Diana. Yeah.
Yeah, but what is it?
I would say, but we never know. I mean, we always have to infer that another human being, if I say resonance and you say resonance, that we are speaking about the same thing, because you might mean something slightly different, as in all language. But I think when you hear something, and again, for want of better words, it's intuitively felt as real and true, as honest, for want of better words, it really hits home and feels right, has a rightness about it.
Huh. That
But
sounds.
what that is, I don't know. I have no idea.
But we know it. I mean, we know it when we feel it. Like.
Yeah, but we know it without having to know it. You know what I mean? It's more. It's like a felt knowing, you could say.
Is it
I
an
don't know what-
agreement? Like we're.
Would you say that's how it feels with resonance?
I can't tell if it's like I'm in agreement with that, what is being said, or there is some truth. There's like some resonant truth to what is being said.
Yeah, that's really what I'm trying to get across. When something resonates, you have a sense of, oh yeah. It's like a yes, isn't it? Rather than fuck off, no way. You know, you could say fuck off is the opposite of resonance. Well, but I don't know what that resonance is. I don't know. I mean, Science wouldn't be able to tell us a thing about that, I don't think.
But it is something. I mean,
Well, it's felt, isn't it? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
so many-
I think if there's a really powerful resonance, it's completely undeniable. It can hit like a bolt of lightning. It can be like being smacked in the face, can't it?
yeah.
It can be incredibly powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, I just hear it mentioned often, and I never really know quite exactly what it is.
And
I mean,
I
we're talking about the same thing.
I don't either. I mean, we could, you know, others could share what they feel when, you know, when they've heard something and it's really resonated. We use that term. What are we talking about? It's quite hard. I'd say, like most of the things we're trying to talk about, it's very hard to describe.
But this definitely feels, this is beyond vocabulary or words
it
or
is.
language or talking, and yet we keep talking about it and
Yeah.
and listening to it, and it's like crack. It's like a crack addiction, you know. I mean,
Yeah, it can be addictive. Yeah.
yeah,
But only if it resonates, Diana.
yeah.
It's true. If it resonates, because for most human beings are fortunate enough that this message does not resonate at all. Doesn't register. It doesn't touch the sides. It just literally goes straight through. There's no, you know, it's not even got a residual, any sense of it. It's just nonsense. And so, fortunately, most won't become non-duality addicts.
Are you still listening to other speakers on this? Do you still like listen to people?
Yeah, rarely, but sometimes.
Who do you listen to?
Tony.
Oh, you still listen to Tony?
Yeah. Jim sometimes. Andreas
Ah,
sometimes. Lisa and Lisa.
cool.
Rebecca. I will say, I mean, Richard
Oh,
Sylvester. I am friends with, well, to a greater or lesser extent, I'm friends with all of them.
oh,
So I've met them all. You know, if you went to Tony Parsons for years, you've met, there isn't anyone you haven't met. If you went for 10 years, you've met everybody. Everybody who's anybody, you know, in the non-duality world. But yeah, most of them I'd call friends. But I wouldn't, when I say friends, it's not like, you know, I don't mean that we're in contact all the time. But I don't listen, I don't know, it is a different kind of listening. It's like sneakily listening to see what they're saying, really, you know. It's like the opposition, isn't it? I might as well fess up, mightn't I? Let's hear what he's got to say today. Not bad. What's she got to say? Pretty good. That kind of thing. Can't help it. It's just natural. But everyone, I mean, I like all speakers who speak about this in different ways. But I can't listen to spiritual stuff anymore. I can't even listen for a minute or two. Even if I try, it's like, oh no. It's like I'll be shouting at the screen.
well, you said you're an atheist, so you never went through the classic Advaita.
I didn't know.
Where were you before this? Like when you say spiritual speakers.
Psychology.
Ah,
Yeah. I was a seeker of self. And of course you can do that. you know, I saw the way as psychology as the way.
Do you think most of the speakers on, I don't know, I don't know what, for lack of a better word, Neo-Advaita are atheists? Is that the
Yeah, most.
is
Yeah,
that the
I would
common
guess.
denominator?
I'm only guess. I have to guess. I'd guess most of them are, but some of them aren't. So, for example, Rebecca Maroon, her book is called "This Is God." So we're on pretty safe ground that she's not an atheist. But of course, probably her Christian friends would call her an atheist. Probably. I mean, it's funny what we mean, isn't it? But she's the only non-duality speaker I know of who comes at this from a theistic viewpoint, really. But of course, I don't, it's funny because as an atheist, you'd think I'd have a problem with "This Is God," but there's no problem with that. Because the problem that I had with God was that I was an atheist. That was my problem with God, that I didn't believe in God. Well, now I neither believe in God or don't believe in God.
Tim, can I ask, when you first started speaking about this, did you find that like at the beginning it was kind of like weird, or like words weren't really coming through, whatever?
I'd say it's like anything.
Like
it's easier. It is easier,
right?
Well, there's less of the
like
there's less of the habitual, oh, you're really a fraud, who do you think you are speaking about, I suppose you think you're the new Tony Parsons, I suppose who the fuck do you think you are that you have the audacity to speak about this, some kind of guru? So there's much less of that. That can still happen, by the way. I think, again, you probably worry about any human being who didn't have a bit of that.
And what was it for you that, like, I guess it just kind of stopped, I guess, and then I guess when that stops, then that the message can kind of just be there. It's not really, I guess, because it's I don't know, maybe like,
and I don't,
when there's ownership over words, then they don't really, you know. But when there's not ownership, I think that's when they just exist, right?
I think all it is there is, so you could say there is a seeming absence of self, even though that's never known. I can't emphasize that enough. There's no knowing the absence of me. But you could say, again, this is in time and just a story, but it can seem like it takes some getting used to. And habitual patterns. I always liked, I said it the other week, Richard Sylvester's analogy of self is always on the hamster wheel, running like hell. But even when the hamster dies and it falls off the wheel is still turning. And all of those habitual patterns of thoughts, they still recur. And I would say they still happen here, without a doubt. There's still all, I call it my old shit. You might want to do the same when it's, you know, so it's not what's happening now, it's repeating over and over again old stuff, especially if there's trauma. You know, that's what trauma is, really. Something great.
And yet here you are speaking, right? So like, you know, wow, right?
I don't know.
That's great.
It's very obvious that I can remember as me imagining myself doing what I'm doing now. I remember that. I can remember sitting in Tony's meetings and thinking, I could do that. Well, the truth is I couldn't do that. You couldn't do this as me, because it would be, wow, it's too naked. Self's too vulnerable. That's how I feel. So again, paradoxically, this is complete vulnerability, but there's no one who is vulnerable. And so in that sense, it feels like being fearless, even if there's fear. My brother's been through my whole life with me. And he said the other day, well, the big change in you, Tim, is that you're not afraid. That's really obvious. I don't get any sense of fear from you. Whereas I was always full of fear. Hence I was periodically seriously depressed. Because that's how fear manifests itself. If it gets too much for self protects itself by going into depression. I studied a lot about depression, hoping I could cure myself. That's really what I was trying to do, trying to be okay with myself. That was my quest. The more I knew about myself, the more I'd be able to be okay with myself. And I don't think I could have tried any harder. Like a lot of people who end up coming to non-duality meetings. I've tried everything else. Really have. It feels like I've tried everything. And I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but it is this simple. There simply is nothing wrong with you, because there isn't you to have anything wrong with you. There is no you who could have anything right or wrong with you. That's the whole message. The rest is sort of like all the other stuff that we're talking about is kind of fluff. Nice fluff, but fluff. The whole message is there is no you who could find what they're looking for, who could complete themselves, who could be okay with themselves. It's the with yourself is the illusion. You know, it's the end of the lifelong project. You're your project. You're your self-improvement project. You've been working your ass off to improve yourself. You know, you've had a few highs. Whoop, whoop. You know, you've congratulated yourself. Didn't last long. Down you plummeted again into your pit of shit that you call yourself. And then you wallowed there for a while, probably. And then you dragged your sorry ass out and you tried something new, because that last one, although it gave you a high for a while and it seemed like it was the way, it didn't actually get you anywhere. I only had to hear once that I was the illusion, that I was the problem. Seemingly, I wasn't a problem because there was nothing, but I was the belief in myself as really at the center of life, my life, that I owned a life. I only had to hear that once. I was done for. And I knew it. It seemed to take a long time. seemingly, but I knew I was done for because there was, you know, to use the word Diana was talking about, it resonated so powerfully that I knew that, yeah, of course. I always knew I was empty. I always knew, really. All the words did was just point out the blatantly obvious, that this self that I'd always talked about, the me that I was always being referred to, I had no idea what it was referring to. It didn't actually refer to anything at all. And when I was depressed, it always felt like, and this is how I described it, a hole right through the middle of me. So where I was meant to be, there was a hole. There was just this gaping chasm of emptiness, which felt dreadfully wrong, but I knew was true. But I had to deny it. Everyone else was real. I couldn't be the only one. So of course I would just push it away. Just be in denial of this not knowing. I never knew myself. That's all we're really speaking of. And the rest is just as it is.
That was lovely, Tim. Heidi's got a hand up.
Heidi.
Hi, Tim. I'm really, right now, dying. It was so great. Yeah. Brings me to my grave, Ken Dinah. It was great, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, anyone else got a question they'd really like to ask?
No question, just appreciation, massive.
Hi, Lynette.
Hi. I have no question. I mean, it's just like, what's the point of questions anymore?
Good question.
I give up, but you touch my heart and I appreciate that very much.
Oh, thanks, Lynette. Well, you know, that's the best bit. There is no heart, by the way. I'd really like to point that out.
Oh.
This is a completely heartless message.
I know. I know.
Oh dear. Oh, I know. I'm so loath to, but I'm so loath to call this a message of the heart, because of course it's so dualistic. You know, the mind is the problem. The mind's the problem. Bloody mind, all those stupid thoughts. Because what self has done is it's made mind my mind. You know, and then heart is just feels more pure and love. No, it's not true. There's just as much love in the mind as there is in the heart. Don't buy that dualistic shit. You know, that there's that love is only in the heart. But thanks anyway, Lynette. I appreciate it. Diana says this message is dismal, but I keep hitting it like a crack pipe. That's good. Dario says, my mum says I'm special. Well, Dario, she would. She's your mother. That's her job. My mother said it to me, but she said it in a derogatory way. Not really. Oh dear. Right. Well, I'm going to do a meeting again on Thursday, so I'll send out invitations. If you'd like to be on the mailing list, then, and you're not, then just email me through the website, timclissthis.com. You're welcome on Thursday after the meeting. Neil's got his Nothing Cafe, which is a social get together. It's been great. I've been a couple of times, and if you just want not to listen but just to engage with others, you could say like-minded or like-hearted, as Lynette would say, other like-hearted souls to talk about this, because there aren't, and I really love it that Neil has done this, by the way, because there aren't many places that you can meet up and talk openly about this, about how it is when even if you don't have a sense of, you know, self falling away or unraveling, if this message resonates, there is a desire to speak about it. I just know for nearly everyone.
Tim, I wanted to say
That's
something to that.
fine, lady, yeah.
I was there 2 times now, and
Yeah.
it's really great. And what I missed was maybe it's better to start at 8:30 then, because
Right.
it was too near to what is coming from your side.
Oh, okay.
Up to, yeah, because we have to cross the street, and maybe there are cars and all the things and the whole
Yeah.
world between us. Maybe it's better
You need to go to the
to have a
toilet.
little space. Yeah, I think you can pick this up. Yeah, that
Well,
was just a
yeah,
recognition.
that's a good. Well,
Yeah.
I'll pass that on to Neil, but I mean, it's up to him. It's his baby.
Okay, this is baby. All's clear. Thank you.
But yeah, I'll pass that on to him anyway. Oh, and he's doing it on Wednesday as well, if you're interested. If you just go Nothing Cafe online, you'll find the link. So he's doing it Wednesdays and Thursdays from now on. But yeah, thanks very much for coming, and yeah, I hope to see you Thursday.
And if anyone wants to make a donation, they can at timclissthis.com.
Thank you. And the other thing, if anybody really, you know, if you feel in desperate need and you'd like a one-to-one of just a talk with me, then you can do that through the website as well. All right. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Tim.
All the best.
And
Bye.
thanks, Tim.
Thanks.
See you on Thursday. Bye, Tim.
And
Bye, Tim.
Bye.
Bye.
bye.